There's a difference between being ashamed and being put to shame. The Bible says in Isaiah, I think it's 54 verse 4, thou shalt not be ashamed and thou shalt not be put to shame. So there's a difference between being ashamed and being put to shame. There are things that will happen and you are ashamed. For fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put. There's one thing to be ashamed and another thing to be put to shame. When you cannot pay your child's school fees and he asks you at home, Dad, give me my fees, and you don't have the money to pay, you are ashamed. But when your child gets to school and they pick him out of the class and tell him to stand out and they call his father's name before other students, you are put. You start your car at home and it's jerking, you are alone, it's jerking, you are ashamed. But you enter the car and you are driving and it stops you in the middle of nowhere, you are put. You have no money for rent. The landlord comes to your house and says, pay your rent. You can't pay. You are But when he comes in the morning and begins to call other tenants, come on, he's owing me. You are put. So being ashamed can be personally handled. But when you are put to shame is disgrace. What is disgrace? Disgrace means to be put to shame. And they said, look at the mockery. Now, if you read verse 36 and verse 37, you see contradictory statement of John chapter 11. The statements were not in semblance. Then said the Jews, behold how he loved him. Look at what the other crowd said. Some of them said, could not this man? A life of disgrace is a life of questions. A life of disgrace, a life of contradiction, a paradox, a contradiction. I thought. The life of disgrace is where your emotions fail you. A life of disgrace is where you think all hope is gone. This one that serves God, this one that loves God, how come his life is like this? A life of disgrace is when your situation makes you question your service. A life of disgrace. You know what? God does not prove points. He proves himself. God does not prove points. He has nothing to prove. He proves himself. God does not prove a point. God proves himself. He doesn't prove points. He proves himself. He doesn't have a point to prove. A life of disgrace is when your condition makes you question your connection. You look at your life and you begin to question, where did I go wrong? Who did I offend? Why this constant embarrassment? There are people looking at their life, the level of mockery and shame. Now, this day, even as God is God, from my mouth to God's ears, everything called disgrace, mockery, shame, in your life, in the life of your children, in your family, everything called disgrace is cancelled now. Everything called shame, reproach, disgrace is cancelled in the name of Jesus. It's 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 cancelled in the name